comments mentioned, any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's now time for Leadership in Business, brought to you by Jon Campion of European Kitchen and Bath. Call in with questions and comments. 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's your host.
Go get 'em, Tiger. Rawr.
We're all behind our baseball team. Go get 'em, Tiger. World Series bound and picking up steam. Go get 'em, Tiger. There'll be joy in Tiger Town. We'll sing you songs when the Bengals bring the pennant home where it belongs. We're all behind our baseball team. Go get 'em, Detroit Tigers. Go get 'em, Tigers.
All right. We are live and in color. All right. And we've got a special guest.
I'll say.
Yeah. And you want to introduce our special guest, John?
I'm going to let you do it, Frank, but I just want Willie to know that Jon Campion, I'm the host, and Willie, I was one of your big fans growing up as a kid in Chicago and then in Western Michigan back in the middle to late 60s and into the 70s over in Michigan. Yeah. So I'm just telling you, I'm got goosebumps here just knowing that you're on the other end. You bet, man. You were, weren't we all something at one time? But I'll tell you what, you stand out. And, I've been in Bill Freehand's study at his house because he worked selling Cadillac parts for my neighbor over in Western Michigan. Okay. And my friend, who it was his dad, we went over there one night to get tickets to go over to Pontiac Silverdome to watch the Lions play the Bears.
Okay.
The Peyton brothers playing each other.
Okay.
So anyways, but I think I only saw one game at Tiger Stadium, but I did see the World Series in '68 when I lived over in a suburb of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a Catholic school, and those nuns just, they thought the Cardinals were the bee's knees, but I'm telling you, you guys showed them. So I'm just letting you know. And now that I'm 66 years old and collecting Medicare, I don't know where all those wonder years went for having a good time, as I'm sure you do too.
I tell people when I'm at age now, pray up and be thankful.
Yeah.
A lot of great memories.
Well, how cool.
Yes. And so for those of you that are just tuning in, we are talking live on the phone with Willie Horton, and you are here in Florida somewhere, right?
Well, I'm up in Davenport. I'm right down. This is my 62nd year coming to the Lakeland area. I came here when I was 17 years old, and I'll never forget downtown. I've seen all this new development, and it's during a race time, and I bring this up because the best walk I had in my life, I had to walk from downtown Lakeland to Tiger Town. I couldn't ride no taxi at the time. It was racer time. But I talk about that's the best walk in my life because I learned to live my life beyond the field to try to help all people.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You played more than just baseball in the States. You also, I think you played winter ball too, didn't you?
Yeah, I played winter ball over in Puerto Rico, Venezuela. Puerto Rico, a year my parents got killed, New Year 60.
Mm-hmm.
Roberto Clemente, one of my mentors, kind of woke me up and told me my parents got killed. I was playing Puerto Rican.
Wow.
Then I managed down in Venezuela in later years after retirement.
Oh, really?
And then I came out of retirement and went to Seattle and played a couple more years.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
So you always could get a good cup of coffee.
At the Starbucks,
and some salmon.
I was blessed. I had an opportunity managing, and one of the players got hurt, and I started messing around until I get me a player from the state. And that little boy got back into me, and I started doing things running and throwing and hitting the ball like I used to, and I ended up tied the league in home run that year.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
And thanks to Fleet Ballou, got called Seattle, and I went back to Seattle and played 2 more years. And this thing happened to Willie Horton because after 2 more years, I learned that the tank was empty.
Yeah.
and I'm just thanks to Fleet Ballou, I ended up hitting another maybe 60 home runs.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. That really is amazing.
You used everything God gave you, and in the end, there was nothing left.
you put it all on the
good
field.
Lord gave you ability to play, and He'll let you know when you empty the tank. But right now, I'm very fortunate in the position I'm in with the Illis family, and before Mr. Illis died, I came in and started back working with him, and right now I'm back in spring training, but the reason I'm back in baseball because at the time he was interviewing me for this job 20-some years ago that I thought he was talking about my son Al, and he said, "I'm talking about you." I said, "Me?" I said, "Oh, I got a problem." I said, because once he retired and got from the game, I said, "I don't want to put my wife back through all of this so-and-so with the baseball."
Right.
And the words he gave me and told me at the time was the reason I'm back. He said, "I'll share this with you." He said, "Well, Willie, I'm not trying to change your mind. As long as I have this team, my family, you won't have to worry about going through that. But I'd like for you quit talking about baseball did this to you. It's just the people in the game.
Yeah.
The people you were surrounded did it to you, and it never happened. And that's the reason I'm back in with the Tiger organization. The best thing happened to me, and they kind of accept me and not only as working for the Tiger, as part of their family, and I've been blessed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. That's great. And I pulled up a couple of YouTube snippets here. One of them has to do with you back in '68. This is Game 5 of the World Series. And so I'm going to play this, and then I want you to explain to our listeners. There's a little bit of a backstory here. And I'm fortunate that I already know the backstory because you told it during fantasy camp. But yeah, so let's play this little segment, and then you can talk about it. All right.
Curveball hit hard out in the left field. It's in there for a base hit. Horton may have a shot at box. Here comes the throw. Don Work lets it go, and he runs over 300, and they got it.
So what happened?
I tell you, it's a throw that. It's part of my life. I live the throw, and I share that today with the young players at Tiger Town about the throw, and you should always know your job and do your homework. And I learned that year made that throw. Well, I know it was Luke Brock I throwed out, but it was a three-plate. In my mind, I had this 3 option, and an option was if he didn't break his stride, we had to keep the guy off second base. And my job to hit Coyote and to know the third base with the ball. But the key to this was being in the right position, knowing who's pitching for us. Mickey Lolis about from the 5th inning on, he used to tighten up the game just like the first 2 or 3 innings for some reason, and made the ballpark very small. And I was with like a sweeper toward the infield. Same way my teammate Freehand understand the play because the play was all in front of Bill.
Yes. And
he seen it that he broke his stride. But what happened, we picked up in a report when he on first base, he used to go around second and drift into third. And same thing he did at second, and then watch the outfielders and the infield. Everybody got lazy because Luke Brock running because he brought base stealing back in the game that year.
That's right.
And third base coach didn't help him, and the guy who was supposed to tell him to slide didn't help him. But Bill Freehand seen the play that he broke his stride and he let the ball come through, and that was the turning point of the game. We came back and went on and came back and won the game and went on and won 3 games in a row.
Yeah, that's right. That's great.
Well,
but that was
I never forget that.
Yeah,
That was,
absolutely.
It was all a team play.
Yeah, but it's a pivotal moment, and like you said, it's a team play.
Exactly.
But you did your homework. You knew what your role was, and you were ready to
Exactly.
execute.
And you know, and I was speaking of back this today to some young players. You should always know your job.
Yeah.
You know, like today they kind of look for notes in their pocket, but I know my job. When I left to go to practice, I know what I had to do to practice. But when the season started, when I'm on home or on the road, when I left either one of them places, I know my job before I got to the ballpark. The fans, I call my extended family, they always loose me up to play, do my job. And but I know my job before I left home or the hotel when I'm traveling.
There you go. There you go. So that was a little snippet that we played that showing your defensive qualities, abilities. But so let's look at some of your offensive capabilities. So there was Denny McClain was pitching in this game towards the end of the season, the regular season. He was going for his 30th win, and you were up to bat as I guess ninth inning, and so they
brought Segui in the pitch against me.
Okay, so there you go. So that's the setup, and here's the play.
Outfield is shallow. The pitch. Fastball. Base hit. Tigers are going to win this one. That is the winning one, and McClain wins his 30th ball game of the year as Willie Horton comes up with a big base hit. In the bottom of the ninth, the Tigers scored 2, and look at the celebration on the field.
So there you go. So that was.
Well, I tell you, I hit the ball good. I think if they wouldn't have brought the infielders in, they had to try to throw them out if I hit a short fly ball to keep us from scoring. But I hit that ball good, hit off the wall.
What was the pitch? You remember the pitch?
But I think if they was playing back, I think I might have got a triple.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell by the sound.
Stays with you because it's part of it, like I said earlier, knowing my job and you always saw them kind of plays in your mind before the game started, that things like that might happen. And then what I did, and I tell the young players, you always learn to play the game through the fans. They'll keep that little boy in where you keep learning to do things like that.
Yeah, I hear you. That's great. So fast forward from those days to 84.
That's backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to read this. So the Detroit Tigers started a fantasy camp back in the 80s and invited you to be one of the first ball players. You want to tell that story?
I was living in Seattle at the time, and I was 40 years old, and Jim Price called me and Jerry Lewis called me. And I said, well, they was telling me about this camp they started. And I thought they was talking about this little two-tip bet that got me on the boat. And I said, well,
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
He said, what?
Really?
We ain't talking about no boat.
Yeah.
But I flew back to Detroit. I was living at Seattle at the time. And I flew back and met with them. And then I've been going to camp ever since I was 40. This is my 40th year. The Tigers, we laid off for 2 years, and we started back this year because of COVID.
Yes.
But I've been involved in the fantasy camp ever since I was 40 years old, and I'm 80 now.
God bless you.
Like I say, I've been very blessed.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so we did the past, the recent past, and then the current day. Let's talk about what do you see the prospects for 2023 for Detroit?
Oh, well, I tell you, we don't grow. We've been developing, growing for the last 6-7 years, and the leadership, we just got a new president. I was teasing him a couple of days ago about I got grandkids his age. He's 35 years old, and but Mr. Harrison, I think that's going to be good for this organization for many years to come. I like some of the things he's doing and done this past winter. He mixing. He comes from a high tech area, but he believe in mixing with common sense, which I think that's what we got to do. Technology's been here.
Yeah.
It was here when I came up, but we always mix it. And I think right now with his leadership, he's going to teach this organization how to mix it. And I think we'll get more benefit out of our young players and prospects. I love the players that we have in our organization. I don't like to name no one or two particular because I love them all.
Yeah.
And I tell them right now, it's no different you playing in the minor league, playing in the big league. Don't cheat yourself out of the mind that you were born with. God gave you $1 million mind. That mind, you can do anything you want in this world, and you can play in the big league. And that's what I try to pass that on to the younger players. But I like Scott Harris. They're coming in, and with the people, new personnel, he bringing in, he mixing with communication, the age, youth with youth, but he's looking at the future. But, there ain't no such thing building for the future. We can win now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of the kids come together and play together. You can go out, and all teams is young now. And whichever team I call, put the scrum eggs together and come out with a good scrum egg, that's who's going to win. And I think we at that bubble now. And once we cross that line, we're going to be good for the many years to come.
That's great. That's great.
Well, I know everybody in Tiger Town's waiting for that. So
Yeah.
you know, and they they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they excited. I've seen people out there in front of the ballpark today when I went out with the young people, and I told them I think they're gonna be surprised with the new Scott and his team of people bringing to the house, and they're gonna be good for 3 to 4 years, up to 14, 15 years ahead.
Yeah, that's great. That's great news. So I remember I bought your book. It was a great read, by the way. I really enjoyed reading your book, and Al Kaline did the foreword to your book, and that was a special moment to read that his thoughts about you as a teammate. So that was a marvelous book. Now, is your book still available?
Yeah, it's still out there, and we got a new book out now too. Just came out about 2 months ago.
Oh well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's I think the name of it Willie Horton. Willie Wonderful Horton, as the fan used to call me years ago, the first great black ball player in the Tiger history.
Wow!
And what that does is the Tram Company in Chicago bought the rights of all of my other books from the different companies, and they made one book. Where now it'd be a national sale book, and it's doing very well.
Okay, and they can find you on
I just
Amazon.
got signing some yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's about 10 copies somebody sent. But it's all about my life. But my life been good. But I learned to live, like I said, through the fans, and that's the same thing when I unveiled my statue and my last of my testimony that day, and I try to thank the fans for letting me, come in their backyard and playground and their work site and made me part of their family, and that helped Willie Horton for all them years playing.
You bet. That's great. Well, you're an inspiration for us all, for sure. Well, I'll look forward to reading your most recent book.
Thank you. I think and Amazon is handling that. You can go on Amazon and they'll show you a copy on the computer.
Yeah.
Your computer places.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not involved in all of that. I kind of shy away. I'm learning little by little through my grandkids.
Oh yeah. Social media.
That's right. That's great.
But
That's great.
I'm fortunate. Me, my wife, she's been a little ill, but I tell her right now we're at the age stage, pray up and be blessed, and think about we got 49 grandkids now.
Good night,
man.
We got 20 grand and 24 great and 3 great and in Lake and Florida area, in this part of Florida, we got about 10 or 15 live in this area. So
they're gonna
we've been blessed. And like my life, I praise the good Lord every day for thinking to help me, put me around the right people in my life who help mold me what I accomplished.
Wow.
There you go.
Phenomenal.
Well, Yeah. Thank you again, Willie. We appreciate you taking the time to give us a call
Thank you,
here
and
at the radio
I'm
station.
sorry that it took so long to
That's
catch up with me, but it was a pleasure.
Oh, the
You
pleasure
know,
is ours, and we're delighted.
I got to say one
Yeah,
thing,
sure.
Frank.
Mhm.
John here, who, anyways, the old fan. I got to tell you, when I came into the studio one day several weeks ago, and he had a speakerphone on his phone. I go, "Who are you talking to?" He goes, "Willie Horton." I go, "No way." So I like asking people down here. Do you know who? I used to ask them. You know who Bill Freehand? You know who Willie Horton?
Oh.
Okay, let me just tell you.
Yeah.
Where have you been living?
Yeah.
Where and I'm asking people who are like
Well, I
around
tell
my
you,
age who
we getting ready to start spring training. You guys want to call me back through spring training.
Yeah.
You can feel free to give me a call back, and
it'd be
we'll
great.
do another show.
Sounds great, Willie.
Yeah,
we'll
man.
take you up on that.
You bet.
All right, and
Thanks.
thank you, and give my love and blessing to your family, both of you, and in the coming weekend. Have a good one.
All
Hey,
right,
hey, I want
you
to
as
tell you,
well.
I only have 2 grandkids. I wonder what that was like, huh? You remember?
Oh man, I tell you, it's something special.
That's-
They are.
Something special.
They
It's
are.
something special.
You're right. Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, and
Thanks,
I'll
Willie.
talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks,
man.
Willie. Bye-bye now.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. There you go.
That was something. Good job, Frank.
Yeah.
You
thank
handled
you.
that like a master. Plus, you had all the Detroit information.
Yeah.
I didn't know Willie had a book. I just want to let you know I have in the studio
Yes.
with me a very good friend of mine, Kevin Sandage,
Mm-hmm.
who is with Franke, who are our sponsors for our show.
Mm-hmm.
And
And we welcome you into the studio, and you got a ringside seat to see what all we do, how we make the sausage here, right?
yeah, well,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Kevin, he grew up Michigan stuff.
Yeah.
And
West
so-
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
I know that area.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's where Kira's from my office, or
Nice, yes.
one of those Bloomfields.
Hmm.
But
Bloomfield
anyways,
Hills and yes,
yeah,
West Bloomfield. Sure.
But
Yeah.
Kevin is kind of funny because he when we ask him where he's from, he'll say some weird town in Switzerland, and he really lives in Winter Haven. But I didn't want to blow your cover, but I did.
Oh, Winter Haven is a wonderful place. I have a cousin that lives in Winter Haven.
Yeah, I'm right down the street from Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
That's
That's right. You
right.
can go over and say I didn't bring you in on that, but
That's
I
okay.
couldn't slow down Wonder Boy here.
Ah,
That's a beautiful park they have up there in Lakeland, by the way, for the
Is it?
Tigers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it?
absolutely.
Well,
yeah, I
that's where
understand they
you went to
remodeled it.
from when you were
Yeah,
playing in there.
yeah, they've it's the whole outfield is entirely different in right field, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. They did a beautiful job with it. It's a fun place to go. Great food. And you get to see Willie.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
right.
Yeah, you go up to the fence, stick your fingers through. Hey, Willie. Hey, Willie.
Yeah.
People go, who's that little guy? Wow, that's pretty cool. So
yeah.
that, for me, I've never talked to a former big league player. I know what I meant to tell him, that I had his 69 baseball card.
Well,
Next
see, what we'll
time.
do is we'll try to figure a way to get it over to him, and he'll autograph it for
Remember,
you.
but the thing I'm worried about, it's that one where they would have on the back of them,
Mm,
those Topps cards, it was like a picture,
mm.
of, I don't know who it was batting, but it's a card with that. It's not the one that says Willie was born in a,
Oh yeah.
in a small with, and he has 99 grandkids, 49 grandkids and great grandkids. That's
Well, we just introduced you just in time for our first commercial break. Isn't that special? But we'll get a chance to visit with your
will.
special guest
we will.
right after we come back. So stay
Thanks.
tuned. We have much more to cover.
We'll be right back. It's
All
John
right.
and Frank.
Yeah, the Frankie and Johnny show, right?
That's right.
to receive your quote. I mean, it literally takes 60.
And we are back. I had too many files open.
Frank,
Too many files open.
as he's usually introduced as Big Frank, world famous Frank Mezzapelle. And that's exactly how the lady says it on when I do the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do
I
that.
don't know. She would probably. I think she says Sandage on Kevin's. Sandage.
Sondage.
Sondage. Huh?
Yeah. He's from the Middle East.
Ah.
Arberg, Switzerland, actually.
Arberg. Yeah, Arberg.
Arberg.
I've been there.
Okay, cool.
You know, it's funny. Somebody, I know it was this chamber breakfast I went to. They used the word, it's make it wonderful.
Make it
And I
wonderful.
wanted to stand up and say, hey, you can't use that. But that's what's all over the Franke,
That's a
certain series of their sinks. And it's a great, it's on the side of their building.
Slogan.
Is
Their
it in
slogan,
Arberg or in Bad Sakian?
In Arberg.
It's in Arberg.
Switzerland.
That's on the main. I don't know. I was turned, anyways, a very cool visit.
Yeah, they use that to speak to the creativity of the company when they're designing products and how they want their employees to enact with and enable themselves every day to be very creative and think outside the box and come up with ideas to launch new products. And
the Swiss are kind of like that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing company. Kevin's been having a great time with them for about, 8 years he's been there. I can't say he's had a great time the whole time like we do with any company, but I worked for that company in a different division for 15 years. And I, think back to that job. I'm glad I don't have to do it now because of the requirement that they demand. A lot of people I've told over the years, Kevin, is that one of the things the Swiss are good at is if sales are down, they quantify that towards their employees and they go, well, we got to cut 21 people. I mean, it sounds brutal, but that's the way they are.
In numbers, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's over 10,000 employees globally for the company. So it happens. It happened through COVID, although they tried to keep everybody.
Yeah.
At certain points in times, you have to make cutbacks to maintain your profitability.
And I think a lot of big companies found that. Wasn't that the case with even with not necessarily, maybe Amazon, because they hired all these people during COVID. They had all these people back in the arrears, and they had to redo it. Careful, that popcorn is could get you. I know. Be careful. It's that $1.25 popcorn at Dollar Tree, where everything is $1.25. Yeah, we usually have our licorice out here, but you can get 3 packs of Cracker Jacks for $1.25.
You guys have a lot of snacks here. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, Frank gets started before I get here, and then but
yes.
I had popcorn in my car. I still have it in there from one night I left here and had leftover popcorn, and I was throwing it in my mouth and I missed half of it. So it was dark, anyways, but we have a good time here, and we appreciate you, all 56 of you listening. What's great about this station, this website, is that we stream all around the world. And, we're convinced that I think Greg said it, the owner, about how successful Indian River State College has been recruiting players, particularly for their basketball team, which is a small college champion many, many years because of the type of players they get.
Right.
This is streaming over in Croatia. We're going to grab that 6'10" guy who can dribble, shoot, and hit free throws and get him over here. So you never know who's listening these days with the streaming. Seriously.
Does that mean there's a possibility that the owner of Franke, Mr. Pieper, is listening?
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but highly unlikely.
Unless he gets a forward from your email.
I could do that, but I don't know what his email is now.
I don't believe that, because John's brother is the bigwig at our company, Tom. He's CEO of the biggest division we have in the company, which is food service, where we make all the stainless steel products that go into McDonald's and the Burger King, and he heads that whole up.
Well,
division up.
but here I am selling sinks and Totos. I had to clean that. That's a censorship. No, here, y'all, we're talking about a European kitchen and bath every week. And, we're over there on Monterey Road, and we know where we are. 30 years in town, and we really appreciate the support of the local community with the small business. And that's what we've been being pro forward on is the small businesses for many weeks. Had many guests on here with small businesses talking about their issue with, you talk about a company of 10,000 of just trying to fill those spots, the warehouse spots, and even spots inside. I mean,
Sales. Yeah.
We had a great a great session several weeks ago, Kevin, with a friend of mine, Jim, who's with he does like outdoor enclosure, screened in
Patios.
Yeah. And Porch Factory is the name of it. It's kind of unique, but he's saying I can't get, just can't get any workers. He's got a pretty good program. Well, we happen to tie in with that. There was a great interview with Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs. That this I can't remember that guy's name, but anyways, he's a national interviewer dude. And anyways, Mike, we have him on a podcast where he's talking about where did the 11 million people go who dropped out of, and then talking about the lack of trades and those type of things. And of course, Jim, my friend Jim Brand from Porch Factory, he is involved with the Treasure Coast Builders and some other stuff, getting those trades groups. We have a lot of groups out here with the schools and whatnot, just trying to get kids to come out, become AC guys or mechanics or HVAC. And a very interesting story. But Rowe's take on things was really
insightful. Yeah.
It was Mike Rowe-ish all the way. And definitely worth listening to when you start trying to get your head around the unemployment issue and where did everybody go. So, that's for every, I think it was every 5 people, 3 fell out.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So
we've had that challenge at Franke, especially at our headquarters in Nashville, where COVID, everybody went remote. So Franke did a great job. They set everybody up that worked for Franke out of Nashville with their own home office equipment, gave them desks, computers, phones, everything they needed, chairs. Well, when everybody started being introduced back into the workplace, a lot of them just didn't want to come back. They were so used to working at home that getting in a car and commuting and going through that grind and sitting in an office just wasn't for them. So I've seen more and more opportunity, especially for businesses for that have remote type workers. And that you see a lot of that in the ads for, on Indeed and different companies like that,
right,
where it says remote possible or remote accepted, because that's a big trigger point now for, especially today after what we went through.
I'm in.
Yeah. I'm always remote, John. You know that.
Yeah, you are remote somewhere.
I'm always remote somewhere.
Yeah, he is.
Southeastern
I can't
United
keep
States.
track of him. He even added a second phone that was his personal one, which I started calling that, and I'd get him, and then he quit answering me on that. So, because he has so many.
Again.
Yeah,
It's John, not John again.
It's Jon again. Yeah, Jon again Campion. Yeah, it's great. Well, Kevin's he's been a really great supplier and vendor, and not just because I work for that company or my brother's some hotshot guy. That doesn't hurt, I guess.
It don't hurt.
But I'm the only Campion not on the Franke Wall of Fame, because I left 15 years ago and 20 years ago, excuse me. I was only there 15 years. I wasn't there 35 like my brother. But
I razz John every time I go to our corporate headquarters, and you walk into the lobby and there's this wall that they have bronze likenesses of all the most important people in our company. And every time I either send him a picture with me next to his father's head or his brother's head
Yeah.
and say, "Where are you, John?"
I'm here. Frank knows he's in my
what
office.
we'll do is
place.
we'll take a nice picture of you,
Right.
and then we'll just paste it up on the wall.
I was thinking about doing that, getting it made out of like plastic or
Yeah,
something,
Sure.
and just
We'll do
stick
that.
it up there and see if anybody ever noticed, especially
they
your
may
brother.
not. They may not notice.
Yeah.
Tom won't notice.
I don't know.
That could be a fun project.
That would be. We got to
Yeah.
look into that,
Yeah.
Frank. That'd
Yeah.
be great. Yeah, Frank's
Well-
become my new right hand guy. Barrett, my warehouse guy, is worried Frank's taking over. He's about what half his size and
Right.
half his weight.
Yeah, he had a fun time watching me pick up a Toto the other day, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He just does it with two arms,
Yeah.
and you had to,
Yeah, I had to kind of
grunt.
take a deep
and-
breath.
Frank, do you surf?
No, but he does.
So there you go. That's what I'm saying. Barrett surfs, and that's
Yeah,
It's all you can.
yeah.
he's just
I
an
can't
accident.
really-
He's a shark bite waiting to happen.
He
I
kicks them. He doesn't. They don't scare him.
Yeah.
And he's out there, and he's surfs up in Fort Pierce, and he isn't afraid of them.
Yeah, you know that a few weeks ago we had that 30-degree weather, right? He
Right.
was out there surfing.
Yeah,
I said, "Why?" He goes, "I got a wetsuit. It's fine."
yeah.
Yeah.
He does it, and
I
then
don't know.
the
I
other
don't
thing he
get it.
does is he boogies in his board in the inlet up there
Mm.
where you're crashing against the walls and stuff. It's like death,
Mhm.
and he just loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the life at 197 Southeast Monterey. Everybody has a story,
Yeah.
especially Frank Mazapel.
Oh, yes. My story is I just enjoy watching things happen over at European Kitchen and Bath. It's always an
It's a
amazing
happening place.
It is happening all the time. It's always a lot of fun to go in
I
there.
gave away 4 boxes of peanuts today
Wow.
just to keep people and reps and everybody happy.
You're the peanut king.
I told old Junior over here that they're going to be the best peanuts he ever ate.
Yeah.
Better than what you get at the dollar store, Dollar Tree.
100%. Thank you,
It's
John.
Dollar Tree. It's right. It's not Dollar Store.
That's right.
And we're giving free exposure to those dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have to talk to him about that.
Okay, that's right.
We'll be right back. So stick with us. We have just a few more minutes on our
That's
closing comments. So stick with us and you might be surprised.
Yes,
See what
we'll
we
be
come
right
up with.
back.
All right. Bye-bye.
Today that lunch I
We are back once again.
Those commercials get faster and faster.
Yes, the
So I
whole
hope-
hour is fast.
Well, always is.
Yes.
All 58 minutes of it. That's the expanded hour. Yeah, right. Now it's great to be here. Beautiful weather we're having in
Yes.
Martin County in the state of
Mhm.
Florida. We
Mhm.
have license plates from everywhere.
Mhm.
I think half the fun is sitting at a red light and counting how many different plates you can see because people from New York, I'm sorry, you still honk at the people in front of you when they're sleeping at the green light,
Yeah.
but please don't do that. We're
No.
not in a hurry down here to
No.
get anywhere.
It's Florida.
Yeah, you got 1 or 2 houses up north, wherever they are. You're not going there.
Yeah, what are you in a hurry for?
You're going out to the beach or to your condo or whatever. So, I don't honk at anybody
No.
anymore.
No, I can't imagine.
Do you, Kevin?
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
plus, you don't know
Mhm.
who's carrying, and now you don't have to even be concealing. You just have to just carry. It's the Wild West,
It is?
isn't it? Did
No.
you know that?
No,
It's soon going to be.
really.
Yeah, you won't even have to,
You don't need a
concealed weapon.
concealed carry
You're
permit?
just gonna
Open carry?
I'm just gonna put it in my left pocket
Okay.
and get it out. Like I can't get my phone out of there. It goes into voicemail.
That would be a problem.
No, but there was some talk about what's going on.
Really?
So yeah, I mean,
I mean, I went through the process of getting a concealed carry permit.
Yes.
You know, and I think it's wonderful to encourage people to go through that process, because that makes you take a deep breath, and you're going to go
I
through
hope
that.
you don't shoot your foot off.
Right. But I
Yeah.
mean, because it's serious stuff,
It is.
and it shouldn't be a flip thing to do.
Well, all of our hundreds of thousands of listeners know you. They don't know Kevin. So if they saw Kevin, would they know if you were carrying or not? You don't carry. Do you?
I do not carry. I laid my arms down when I ETS'd out of the military.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that was
ETS is an acronym for
end term service.
in-term service. Okay, which means you
End term
complete.
service.
So he completed his service.
I'm done.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like when, I go to Netflix, I can select DD movies,
Hmm. Ah.
it's calling the midwife, Dining Abbey, mine are like, of course, Die Hard 2 and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Yippee yippee
yeah, yippee-i-okay. You got it.
Mhm.
You got it.
Mhm.
So, anyways,
Very good.
enough said about that.
Yes.
So,
We don't want to be visited by the censors.
yeah, that's right. So I want to thank Kevin for
Yes.
being in town, and I
We want to
surprised
thank
him.
Franke for being our sponsor, show
Absolutely.
sponsor.
It's really been fun. Thank you
Mhm.
for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast, and we're going to continue to support you guys. And all the listeners out there, make sure you go to European Kitchen. It's a wonderful showroom, wonderful people, most knowledgeable staff in Florida as far as plumbing products go. And pay them a visit and support your local businesses.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kevin. That means a lot to me, and means a lot to Frank too.
Yes.
Because that way Frank can still come over and,
I've
and
got.
see what fun it is.
That's right. Well, plus I've grown rather fond of eating, so
You're doing a good job. Yeah. Well,
so
got enough here to feed a family of 4.
work is good, and you get to eat, so that's all good.
No, it's and on top of that, your new clothing outlet, and try to make sure you're clothed properly when you come. He's got a couple of nice shirts, and as do I. And no, Frank's been a good supporter, and he keeps me coming back.
Yes. Well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have a good time.
We mix it up. So, our main job in this show is to get you comfortable with Jon and his crew and come down and visit with him, and maybe you'll take a product home. Could be anything because you have a wide variety of products that you sell.
We do.
So, the hook is, we do a little bit of light entertainment and sometimes an interview with a special guest. And then, so people want to tune in for that. And then, Jon's not a bad guy. And maybe we'll see what he's got to sell, see what he's got.
Well, I think the other thing I want to say is a lot of people think, they look over and I heard today twice, I heard from, some new people in town, because we have a lot of new
Right.
people in
Right.
town. And he just said, boy, if I would have known about you guys, I would have never gone to my guy up north.
Right.
And we're like, well, I
know.
mean, everybody's different how they look around for
Well, yeah.
companies
right.
and stuff like
Sometimes
that.
it's personal referrals, or they just stumble
Right.
across things, or people just get so narrowly focused to think about only big box stores, and they don't realize there's still a real service world out there of retailers and merchandisers that cater to the local audience
And
you
with different products
with
too.
different and quality products.
Franke's
Yeah.
the relationship that Franke has out there with consumers is amazing, and it's right up there at the top. And I can't tell you, Kevin, how many people, as you know, you've been in plenty of showrooms and been in a while, when you have people come in and go, well, I had Franke up north and I want a Franke sink here. And I was like, oh, thank God, it's
Right.
great. I mean,
Yes.
but
Because the product sells themselves. So once you use the product and you see how well it works and you like the design and you're comfortable with it, you stick with it.
Yep. That's
You
it.
know?
That's it. And they continue to innovate and expand their offerings.
Mhm.
Our product offerings, yep, all
It's
through
pretty
our
amazing.
faucets and sinks.
And the other thing that's really important to remember, y'all, is that they you want to have how can I word this? You want the products that they sell are products that are made in their factories.
Mhm.
Now you can, if you're on some of your websites that are, those are the ones who come in and ask us, is this 16 gauge? That's when we know you've been looking at this one or that one.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm not saying 16 gauge is, indicator of internet action.
Mhm.
But the fact is that the sinks that are provided out there can be made in a factory in China by a factory in China, not a factory in China owned by Franke
Right.
or by some of the other people that we sell. I mean, I'm
Yep,
just
the predominant number of sinks sold in stores and on the internet are produced in China using Chinese stainless steel. And one of the things we're proud of is the quality of our product and the stainless steel, but 76% of all the stainless steel that we use in all of our factories globally comes from the United States. And that's because that is the highest quality producing inox factory or stainless steel factory in the world is here in the United States. And we support that and use that in our products.
Yep. So
So it's Buy American.
well, really, I
basically,
mean,
yeah,
it is.
essentially.
How do you know?
Yep.
How do you know?
Yeah,
And
well, you don't.
You come into our store and we tell, is this made in China? Yes,
get
it
an-
is made in China, but
You'll
get an
never get
education.
that kind of information at a big box store. You go in and see people like Jon Campion at European Kitchen. They know and understand all the manufacturers they sell, where their products come from, what type of quality the materials are used in the manufacturing process, and that's important.
and not only is that important for when you're going to be putting that product in your kitchen that you're going to be using how many times a day? A lot. And so we're there to, whether it's the kitchen or whether
Mhm.
it's the bathroom or whether it's this or that. We told that funny story a couple of weeks ago about the guy who wanted toilets that were made in America.
Oh God, yes.
And that was where you were involved with exchanging them out.
Yes.
The toilets came in the box, the one-piece toilets from Toto came in with it said Thailand on it or something, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And so this guy said, "No, you're gonna have to come pick these up and bring me some from United States." And we had 3 of them in there from the USA. They were made up in Atlanta, and that's what we switched it around. We didn't, put them in a different box from some. It was we have nothing to hide.
Right.
We have nothing to hide. And 30 years business here and 20 years business up in Vero, it says something about our the type of people we have in our process of which we operate. And that extends back from my father, who was a genius, from when he started this to where we are now.
Yeah.
We've, as you know, Frank, we've talked a lot about how we've changed things, to stay relevant to the times. And that's what we've done. So, and we couldn't, honestly, Kevin, couldn't have done it where we are with your product without your help and everything you've done for us. And we're thankful Frank has a job today because you're
I get dinner tonight.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
We're going to make sure Frank stays fed permanently.
He kind of needs to, I mean, you can only eat so much popcorn and corn chips,
Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
Well, we got Cracker Jacks is because baseball season, right?
Well, yeah. And of course, it's got a prize inside.
Exactly.
It's worth about nothing. So we've got about a minute left, and I'm just going to tell you again, European Kitchen and Bath, Stewart. They can't hear us in Vero, but we have another store in Vero if you're headed up that way. And we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And we
go to the website too,
Sure.
European Sink
That's it.
Mhm.
And it's a great website. It,
Mhm.
it has our whole database for every product we sell, and we can tell you how to go through there and pick your products of your wish list, as we call it. And it's a pretty cool program. And we have portals with all these manufacturers like Franke, where we can go in and see what's in stock. We can tell you, and we're talking sinks and faucets with 5 different finishes, and sinks. How many different type brand? How many different? I don't know.
A lot.
We got a lot. Yeah, and Franke owns a couple other companies that we sell too. So it's there. We're there. We have too much. We have a lot.
You can give them a call. So the phone numbers you have listed here on your website, the Stewart number is
772-221-3990.
And then I've got a Vero number here
And
too.
that's 772-770-9970.
Okay. Whoa, good job.
Oh man, you were testing me.
We'll be back next week right here.
All right. Y'all have a great week. Thank you, Martin County.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.